Alright, so I am back with yet another Pauper deck tech. So this is a deck that I've recently started brewing. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it feels pretty powerful actually. In testing, I've already taken down some tier decks with it. So it's very rough around the edges, very much a first draft, but I feel like it has potential. So it's a Rakdos cycling deck, kind of inspired by the cycling decks that were popular in Ikoria Standard using Zenith Flare. So our deck is just filled with creatures with cycling. Almost all of them have a cycling cost of 1. And then we have various payoffs from having all of these cycling creatures. The first one being Dranith Stinger. So it's 2 for a 2/2 with a cycling cost of 1. And it says whenever you cycle another card, Dranith Stinger deals 1 damage to each opponent. So this lets us turn all of our cycling cards into damage. I found it to be pretty strong, and when you have multiple Dranith Stingers on the battlefield, things get really crazy really quickly. Okay, then as one of our other payoffs, we have 3 copies of Liliana's Elite. It's 3 mana for a 1/1 zombie, and it gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. So already in a few games, I've had this become an 8/8, 9/9, or 10/10. Then one of our other payoffs is we have 2 copies of Haunting Misery, which is essentially our version of Zenith Flare. So it's 3 mana for a sorcery. It says exile X creature cards from your graveyard. Haunting Misery deals X damage to target player. So once we've stocked up our graveyard with tons of creatures, boom, we cast Haunting Misery and hopefully deal a lot of damage to our opponent. I'm only running 2 copies because we have to exile the cards from our graveyard, so we don't want too many of these. And then finally, our last payoff, of course, is one of the sort of popular cards of the moment. It's Writhing Necromass from Dominaria United. 7 mana for a 5/5 with Death Touch, and it costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your graveyard. So it's very easy to get this costing 2 mana or even 1 mana, and it is just a very strong, very good card. The Death Touch means it destroys any creature that it blocks or is blocked by, and just a 5/5 is huge. And obviously, unlike Gomag Angler or the other Delve cards, we don't have to exile the cards from our graveyard, which is way stronger. So I'll quickly go through the rest of our deck, which is just creatures with cycling, basically. So of course we have Street Wraith, because its cycling cost is just simply 2 life. We have Monstrous Carabid, cycling cost of 1 split black-red, and it's 5 for a 4/4. Then we have Horror of the Broken Lands, cycling cost of 1 black, also 5 for a 4/4. That says whenever you cycle or discard another card, it gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Lurching Rotbeast, 4 for a 4/2, cycling cost 1 black. Viscera Dragger, 4 mana for a 3/3, cycling cost of 2 generic, and it has Unearth for a cost of 1 generic and 1 black, which can be very useful as well. Then we also have Viashino Sand Sprinter. Cycling cost is 1 red, and it's an interesting card which we can also hard cast to chip through for some damage. So it's 3 mana for a 4/1 with Trample and Haste. That says at end of turn, return it to its owner's hand. And then finally, we have Desert Ceradon, cycling cost 1 red, and it's 6 mana for a 6/4. So we really want to be cycling lots of things, which is why every creature here, except for the Dragger, has a cycling cost of only 1 mana. But what's pretty cool is that in sort of the mid to late game, we can just start hard casting these creatures. And some of them, like the Horror of the Broken Lands, are not bad bodies, actually. So obviously, your opponents are going to side in Graveyard Hate in game 2. And obviously the Graveyard Hate's very annoying, like Relic of Progenitus. But fortunately, this deck, even if our sort of graveyard plans are shut down, i.e. we can no longer, Crush with the Elite or the Misery or the Necromass, we can just hardcast our creatures and try beat down, and we can still ping through for damage with the Dranith Stinger. So yeah, that's the deck as it stands. Let me know your thoughts or improvements. As I said, I've found this deck to be really fun to play with. I've had a good time testing and tweaking it, and it seems to have some potential to me. So yeah, I encourage you to take it for a spin. Let me know in the comments what decks you've been brewing, or if there are any cards that you suggest I brew around in future videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.